There's a story about a woman named Margaret, a 72-year-old widow who had lived alone for over a decade after her husband passed away. Her children lived hundreds of miles away, and most of her old friends had passed on. Every day she sat by her window, watching the world go by as the silence around her grew louder. She'd watch people on TV laughing with friends, getting together with family, and it made her feel even more invisible. The loneliness she felt wasn't just emotional. It began to take a physical toll on her. It affected her energy, her mood, and even her health. Her doctor once told her that chronic loneliness can actually be more harmful than smoking. Margaret's situation wasn't rare, and it's not just an unfortunate fact of aging. This is a real danger many seniors face. Now, Margaret's story might sound familiar, right? Maybe you too have felt the weight of loneliness creeping in over the years. Loneliness isn't just about being alone, it's a serious health risk. Studies show that it can be more dangerous than smoking 15 cigarettes a day. But what if I told you there are simple steps you can take today to fight loneliness and build meaningful connections? That's exactly what we're going to cover in this video. I'm going to share 7 powerful hacks that'll help you make new friends and fill the void that loneliness creates. You don't have to go through this alone, and it's never too late to change your social life. I've seen this firsthand in my family, how loneliness can quietly steal your joy and health. But I've also seen how small changes can make a huge difference. Let's dive into the first hack that will help you start making connections today. Hack number 1, join local clubs or organizations. You know, the hardest part of making friends after 65 isn't meeting people, it's knowing where to start. After retirement, routines change, social circles shrink, and suddenly we find ourselves wondering, where did everyone go? That's where local clubs come in, whether it's a gardening group, a walking club, a choir, or even a senior book circle. These are places where people just like you are looking for connection. The best part? You're already walking in with something in common. I remember hearing about a man named Harold, 68 years old, retired, and lonely after his wife passed. One day, his daughter signed him up for a community chess club. At first, he resisted. He said, "What am I going to do with strangers playing a game I haven't touched in years?" But by the 3rd week, he was laughing over coffee with 2 new friends he now calls family. What worked for Harold wasn't just showing up, it was doing something familiar in a new environment. That's the key. When you engage in activities you already enjoy, the focus stays on the fun, not the pressure to socialize, and friendships form naturally from there. A quick tip: many senior centers or libraries have bulletin boards or newsletters listing weekly events. Check them out. You might find a club that meets just around the corner. You don't need a big step, just the first one. And if you're shy, that's okay. Just show up, sit in, be present. You don't need to be the loudest in the room to find the warmest conversations. Over time, the walls come down. Hack number 2, volunteer. There's something powerful that happens when you shift the focus away from yourself and start helping others. It's not just about giving, it's about feeling needed, appreciated, and connected again. And for many seniors, that feeling becomes the doorway to meaningful friendships and even better health. Let me tell you about Janet. She's 73, retired, and had been living alone ever since her husband passed away. Her days slowly blurred together. Quiet mornings, silent lunches, long evenings with the TV just to fill the air. Over time, the isolation started to affect her body too. She was sleeping less, her appetite dropped, and she began feeling aches and fatigue that doctors couldn't explain. It wasn't a physical illness, it was loneliness, quietly draining her from the inside out. One day, her granddaughter encouraged her to try something different, to volunteer at a nearby animal shelter, just 2 hours a week. Janet hesitated, but finally agreed, and something unexpected happened. Week by week, that simple act of walking dogs and chatting with the staff brought her back to life. The tiredness faded, her appetite returned. She started laughing again, really laughing, with people she'd just met. It wasn't just about animals, it was about the connection, the routine, the purpose. That's the magic of volunteering. You step into a space where everyone is doing something meaningful together, and suddenly, friendship doesn't feel forced. It just happens. Whether it's helping at a food pantry, sorting donations, reading to kids at a library, or even just answering phones at a community center, there are hundreds of ways to be part of something bigger than yourself. And if you don't know where to start, try asking at your local church, community center, or visit a website like Volunteer Match. And choose something small, something that feels light and right, and see how your world starts to open up. If this resonated with you, drop hack 2 in the comments so I know you're still with me. And subscribe if you're ready to feel truly connected again. Hack number 3, stay active and join fitness classes. You might think, how does exercise help me make friends? But here's the truth. Movement brings people together. And for seniors, joining a fitness class isn't just about stretching muscles. It's about building connections, breaking isolation, and rediscovering joy. Let me tell you about Frank. He's 69, recently retired, and didn't have many social plans after leaving work. His days became quiet. He'd wake up late, move from his couch to the kitchen, maybe watch a little TV. And that was it. His knees started hurting more. He felt stiff in the mornings, and the loneliness crept in slowly, like fog you don't notice until everything feels dim. Then one day, while picking up medication at the pharmacy, he saw a small flyer. Senior yoga, low impact, first class free. On a whim, he went. At first he felt awkward. He didn't know anyone, and he hadn't done any stretching in years. But by the end of the class, a lady next to him smiled and said, "You did better than me on the balance pose." They laughed, they talked, and just like that, Frank found someone who saw him. He kept going. Week after week, the aches faded, the stiffness improved, and the friendships, they grew naturally. He found himself staying after class to chat, even grabbing coffee with a few regulars. That's the power of joining a class made for people like you. Everyone's there for the same reason, to feel better and not feel alone. You don't need to lift weights or run marathons. Look for gentle classes like chair yoga, water aerobics, or Tai Chi. Your local senior center, YMCA, or church may already offer them. The goal isn't to get ripped, it's to get moving, stay mobile, and open the door to community. Because when your body starts feeling stronger, your spirit follows. Hack number 4, use technology to connect. Now, I know for some people over 65, the word technology can feel a little intimidating. But let me tell you something. Use the right way. It can be a lifeline. Not just for keeping in touch with family, but for making brand new friends right from the comfort of your home. Take Joan, for example. She's 74, widowed, and most of her children live far away. She spent her days watching the same TV shows, eating meals alone, and rarely hearing her phone ring. Her house was quiet, too quiet. One day, her granddaughter helped her set up a simple app on her tablet, a website for seniors to meet others with similar interests. Joan didn't expect much, but she signed up, filled in a few hobbies, crocheting, gardening, baking, and the next morning, there were 5 people in her inbox who liked the same things. One of them invited her to an online baking group that met every Friday over video. Now, every Friday afternoon, her kitchen smells like banana bread, and her face lights up with conversation. She laughs more, she shares recipes, and she doesn't feel so alone anymore. That's the magic of today's tools. There are apps and websites made just for seniors, like Stitch, Senior Chatters, or even Facebook groups focused on hobbies or local communities. You can play games, attend virtual book clubs, or just chat over coffee, virtually. And if you're worried about learning how to use them, ask a family member to walk you through it once. That one call could change everything. Technology doesn't have to pull you away from the world. If used right, it brings the world right to your living room. If this sounds helpful, comment hack 4 and share your favorite way to stay connected. And make sure to subscribe. We've still got more powerful hacks ahead. Hack number 5, reach out to old friends. Sometimes the friend you're looking for is someone you already knew. As we age, it's natural for life to scatter people in different directions. A best friend from your 30s might have moved away, or a cousin you used to be close with slowly drifted apart. But here's something we often forget. Those connections aren't gone. They're just waiting to be rekindled. Let me tell you about Raymond, a 69-year-old man who'd retired and was feeling the weight of silence in his life. One night, while flipping through an old photo album, he saw a picture of his fishing buddy from 25 years ago, Greg. They used to spend every other weekend at the lake. Then careers, family, and time happened. They hadn't spoken in over a decade. Raymond picked up the phone, unsure if the number even still worked. It did, and after a short moment of surprise, they talked for over an hour, laughing like no time had passed. 2 weeks later, they met up for coffee. And now they've restarted their monthly fishing trips. That one call changed his entire rhythm. Reaching out doesn't have to feel awkward. You don't need a perfect reason. A simple, "Hey, I was thinking about you," goes a long way. Chances are the other person feels the same. They might be just as hesitant, just as lonely, just as eager to reconnect. In a world obsessed with new things, sometimes the most comforting connection is the one you've already had. So grab that old address book or scroll through your contacts. Call someone who made you laugh once. You never know. They might be needing that call even more than you do. Hack number 6. Attend religious services or spiritual gatherings. There's something powerful about sitting in a room where people sing, reflect, and share silence together. Even if you don't speak a word, you feel like you belong. That's exactly what happened with Anita, a 76-year-old widow who had lost both her husband and her rhythm. Days felt long and nights even longer. Her daughter suggested she visit the local temple just to get out of the house. Anita wasn't particularly religious, but she agreed, more out of curiosity than conviction. She walked in, quietly took a seat in the back, and something shifted, not because of the prayers or the rituals, but because of the warmth. People smiled at her. One woman invited her for tea afterward. Another gently held her hand during a song. That afternoon turned into a weekly habit, and that habit slowly grew into friendships, shared rides, birthday calls, even a new sense of purpose. Spiritual or religious gatherings aren't just about belief. They're about belonging. Whether it's a church, temple, mosque, or even a meditation group at the community center, these places often become lifelines. They give structure to your week, offer you familiar faces, and, most importantly, they remind you that you're not alone in your thoughts, your struggles, or your hopes. And if you haven't attended one in years, don't worry. No one's keeping track. You'll be surprised how open and welcoming people can be, especially when they know you've come looking for peace and connection. It's not about being devout. It's about being seen, heard, remembered. If this idea gave you hope, comment Hack 6 below. And if you haven't yet, subscribe now for more heartfelt advice designed just for you. Hack number 7, be open and approachable. Sometimes the biggest reason we feel lonely is because we stop inviting the world in. Let me tell you about Frank. He's 70, lives alone, and used to think no one wanted to talk to him. He'd go to the store, to the park, even the doctor's office, and barely make eye contact. Until one day, his neighbor's dog got loose. Frank helped catch it, and while handing it over, he cracked a small joke. That little moment turned into a short conversation. The next day, the neighbor waved. A week later, they were having coffee. Frank told me something that stuck. I didn't realize I was the one closing the door. And it's true for so many of us. The way we carry ourselves, our facial expressions, our tone, our energy, sends a message. A gentle smile, a hello to the cashier, a compliment to someone's scarf. They seem small, but they open up entire worlds of connection. You don't need to be the most social person in the room. You just need to give people permission to talk to you. And often all it takes is being the first to smile. Being approachable doesn't mean being fake. It means softening the edges, showing warmth, and reminding others that you're open to conversation and friendship. So next time you're out, instead of looking down or away, look around. Say something kind. Give someone the chance to connect with you. You never know. One simple gesture might lead to a friendship that changes everything. Loneliness might feel like a quiet struggle, but its impact is anything but silent. It affects your heart, your health, and your happiness. But the truth is, it doesn't have to stay that way. Whether it's joining a local club, volunteering, reaching out to someone from your past, or just smiling at a stranger, every small step matters. Because connection doesn't always come from big, dramatic moments. Sometimes it's built one warm hello at a time. So if even one of these 7 hacks felt like something you could try, start today. Don't wait for someone to reach out to you. Be the spark that creates the connection. You still have so much life ahead, and it's meant to be shared. Sometimes the smallest step in the right direction ends up being the biggest step of your life. If this video gave you hope or ideas, drop a comment saying, "I'm ready to connect." And hit subscribe so you don't miss the next video that could change your life. Also, if there's someone in your life who's been feeling a little lonely lately, send this to them. It might be just what they need to hear today. You're not alone in this, and you never have to be.